Hey guys, Moms Against Medical Bullying. You know how they say that sometimes just the word of somebody getting a diagnosis um, can kill them more than the actual diagnosis? I don't know, maybe they found this out by, say, a doctor misdiagnosing someone with something deathly, maybe HIV/AIDS or something like that. And say the person did end up dying, but let's say that, an autopsy revealed that the person, in fact, didn't have the diagnosis that the doctor labeled them with. Yeah, I mean, I know I've heard of that before. But I've also heard the opposite, as where doctors tell people that they're going to die in a certain amount of time and they end up living a little bit longer. But I guess I just want to speak on where doctors give people death sentences, and that alone ends up killing them because they've, heard the word and they've received the word and they believed it, and therefore their expectation was already laid out before them. So, anyways, I found this article from BBC, nonetheless, right? The contagious thought that could kill you. And another thing that I think is interesting about this article is a lot of things that they blame witchcraft or shamanism for is the same exact thing that what they call modern medicine does. That's interesting, the title, though, right? The contagious thought that could kill you, because that's exactly what the medical monopoly is doing right now. They've diagnosed everyone in the whole world with a specific disease and say that you have it, whether you show symptoms or not. And when you wear this piece of cloth over your face, you're making a declaration that this is your belief system and that you have it. So this is interesting. This was written in 2015. To die, sometimes you need only believe you are ill, right? As David Robson discovers, we can unwittingly catch such fears, often with terrifying consequences. And obviously, in this past year, it has not been hard to catch such fears, because these are the fears that we've been thrown, and this is what the world has been diagnosed with, right? Beware the scaremongers, right? They say, like a witch doctor's spell, their words might be spreading modern plagues. So see here, I find it interesting that they're pointing the finger at witch doctors. See, this is what they do. They put witch doctors down as if they are better. But see, they are not better, because they operate by belief as well. So anyways, it's a consistent phenomenon, but medicine has never really dealt with it. Well, medicine is belief as well. Medicine is religion as well. We have long known that expectations of a malady can be as dangerous as a virus. Okay. I don't know. For some reason, when I read this, I think doublespeak, because they use this virus for people to have expectations of malady. So what I find interesting is they are acting as what they're accusing of someone else acting like. They think they're better than, spiritual people. Anyways, in the same way that voodoo shamans could harm their victims through power of suggestion. So here they are saying that this is all power of suggestion, that what voodoo shamans do is not real, right? There goes that, that pride. Priming someone to think that they are ill often produce the actual symptoms of a disease. Well, what are they doing? They have primed the world to believe that they are ill or will become ill. And they gave, specific symptoms of a disease. Vomiting, dizziness, headaches, and even death could be triggered through belief alone. I mean, wow. I think this is so fascinating that they're aware of this and they have attacked us like voodoo shamans. But because they say that what they're saying is real, that they have scientific evidence, which people have already uncovered that they don't. They think that they're better. Medicine thinks they're better, but medicine doesn't realize that they act on belief as well. It's called the nocebo effect. But it is now becoming clear just how easily those dangerous beliefs can spread through gossip and hearsay with potent effect. This is what they're doing, spreading lies. It may be the reason why certain houses seem cursed with illness and why people living near wind turbines report puzzling outbreaks of dizziness, insomnia, and vomiting. If you have ever felt flu-y after a vaccination, wow, can you believe this? They're saying that if you feel sick after vaccines, that it's because you believed that you would. If you believe your cell phone was giving you a headache or suffered inexplicable food allergy, you may have also fallen victim to a nocebo jinx. Okay. But see, this can easily be turned back on them, right? Like if you take a vaccination and then you believe you're protected from a disease, right? They're doing the same thing. They're operating in the same voodoo that they accuse other people of operating in. The nocebo effect shows the brain's power. It says Dimos Mitsikostas from Athens Naval Hospital in Greece, and we cannot fully explain it. So they're saying that it's aggravating because modern medicine always acts like they're right and like they do everything by fact. But I really think that they need to be brought down back to their knees and to realize that no, you also operate in belief as well, right? Like the germ theory. And we're all supposed to believe it, right? They're both groups, medicine and, voodoo shamanism, both promote something that other people can't see and that only they can have control of or see, right? And that everyone else is just supposed to believe. So, a killer joke. Doctors have long known that beliefs can be deadly, as demonstrated by a rather nasty student prank that went horribly wrong. The 18th century Viennese medic Erich Menninger von describes how students at his medical school picked on a much disliked assistant. Planning to teach him a lesson, they sprung upon him before announcing that he was about to be decapitated. Blindfolding him, they bowed his head onto a chopping block before dropping a wet cloth on his neck. Convinced it was the kiss of a steel blade, the poor man died on the spot. Well, that's interesting, and I never heard of that before, but I bet you German New Medicine would have a lot to say about that. What do they call that? A death fright conflict or something? Okay, so while anecdotes like this abound, modern researchers had mostly focused on the mind's ability to heal, not harm. The placebo effect, from the Latin for I will please. Every clinical trial now randomly assigns patients to either a real drug or a placebo in the form of an inert pill. The patient doesn't know which they are taking, and even those taking the inert drug tend to show some improvement, thanks to their faith in treatment. Yet alongside the benefits, people taking placebos often report puzzling effects of nausea, headaches, or pain that are unlikely to come from an inert tablet. The problem is that people in clinical trial are given exactly the same health warnings whether they are taking the real drug or placebo, and somehow the expectation of the symptoms can produce physical manifestations in the placebo takers. It's a consistent phenomenon, but medicine has never really dealt with it. Over the last 10 years, doctors have shown that the nocebo effect, Latin for I will harm, is very common. Reviewing the literature, Mitsikostas has so far documented strong nocebo effects in many treatments for headache, multiple sclerosis, and depression. In trials for Parkinson's disease, as many as 65% report adverse effects as a result of their placebo, and around 1 out of 10 treated will drop out of a trial because of a nocebo. I mean, this goes the other way too, right? Like they said, if somebody with a placebo says they feel better and their symptoms are alleviated, well, does that mean that their drug is not effective? Does that mean that actually everyone who just took something